This is Jonathan Ferguson, the Keeper of Firearms and Artillery at the Royal Armouries Museum in the UK, which houses a collection of thousands of iconic weapons from throughout history. And I'm your host, Dave Jewett, and today we're getting a taste of virtual Finnish brutality as we check out some of the weapons from Road to Vostok. This has to be the first game this gun has appeared in.
Oh, I'd be amazed if it's not. There's something terribly wrong about shooting guns without any sights on. Unless you live in the Walking Dead universe, of course, where it's just standard. I mean, very unlike me, I haven't picked up an MP5 to compare here yet, but that... Maybe I should. There's one just down the way. I'll be right back.
Canonically, Jonathan is never further than 10 feet away from an MP5. If you go to Vostok and die, your game file gets deleted. Your save gets deleted. But there were a few times I went to Vostok, got shot once and was like, I'm leaving.
I guess that's why I've just noticed, as well as health, energy, hydration, body temperature. I mean, frankly, that's no business but mine. Nobody's business but mine. And mental, which should just say yes, really, rather than a percentage.
Yeah, you can restore mental by making giant buckets of moonshine.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah. Our extended Patreon edition of this episode is over 70 minutes long, and there'll be a link in the description if you want to check that out. But without further ado, I'll throw it over to Jonathan.
Oh, that's extremely loud. Ultimate audio realism there as my right eardrum bursts.
Sorry about that.
It's not your fault. It happens every time. Now that I'm streaming the clip, the volume goes to max every time. I was about to say, it looks very good.
So Road to Vostok just hit early access. It's a sort of blend between it's a little DayZ, a little Stalker, a little Tarkov, single player survival sandbox.
Yeah. I think we have an issue with the hammer. It looks like it's all very well the first shot on double action being hammer down, but then the hammer stays down. But early access. If anyone's watching, hammer gets cocked. You can see it getting cocked by the slide coming back when it's locked, so why would it not be cocked? I can certainly vouch for the audio. My right ear can vouch for the audio. Case ejection is that perpendicular thing that we've talked about before, where they just kind of go, they launch out exactly straight, and they should be... There's just about always, there's bound to be some exception, but just about always you get a twisting motion of a case coming out because you've got an ejector and an extractor and they work opposite each other. So any current or budding gun firearms designer, video firearms designers, video game firearms, let's try that again, shall we? So any budding designers out there of not real guns, shall we say, bear those points in mind. They are generic things that have come up in our by this point, years looking at virtual firearms. I was wondering if it's looking a little grey. I feel like I should have picked one up now.
It might just be because it's in rainy Finland. Everything's a bit grey.
Hey, that's rich coming from a Brit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, finishes vary. Guns can be refinished, and it might just be the lighting, and the lighting does look good. It looks maybe it's looking a little bit Parkerized, like grey phosphatey, which is, you know, the Makarov is typically a darker black looking finish, effectively.
One thing I want to shout out as we talk about all the levels of detail, animation, textures, this game is less than 6 gigabytes.
Wow.
Which seems absolutely mad.
I don't understand how that's possible.
Finnish magic.
I think that one of the main things with the PM is the reload. Very few things get it right, because I think unless you've got hands on the gun and you appreciate how awkward it is to get that heel release pressed back against significant spring pressure and then pull out the magazine. Most reload animations look too easy to me. I kind of have to come in this way around to actually get enough leverage, enough pressure to remove the mag. Guess your mileage may vary.
The way the game features bolt actions and pump action shotguns is really interesting. You left click to shoot the weapon, and then you have to actually hit reload to rechamber the next round.
Good.
And then you have to hit control to then open the weapon, and left click to reinsert one round after the other. So there's a bunch of mechanics in play to make reloading these weapons a bit trickier, but it works really well. It really dials up the tension and makes it feel like a bolt action. It's a really interesting system.
It's quite unique, isn't it?
Yeah, not many games do that.
I do. I instinctively like the idea of using different controls to operate.
It reminded me of Receiver 2's reloading.
I was just going to say,
not quite as intense.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of that does anything like that is Receiver.
But it's meant that because the game just launched early access, there's loads of posts on the Reddit and the Steam forums asking, how do you reload a Mosin? The shotgun is broken. I can't reload it.
After decades of conditioning that you just have to hold down a button.
I kept the iron sights on since it was, you're playing as a Finnish survivor against Russian forces. It felt apt. If only it was snowy.
Yeah, so the Mosin I've picked up is a sniper, because I did see a picture of one from the game, and there was this configuration was in there as well. So slight spoiler for me there. But yeah, as far as the bolt operation goes, that very drastically turned down handle, realistically, you can finger and thumb it, but it's no Lee Enfield, let's put it that way. So the animation they have there of palming it up and back and then reversing to go forward and down is how most modern shooters are going to shoot something of this nature. The scope view looks pretty good, and sure enough, that sight picture looks a lot like what I'm seeing on the screen, including that very narrow field of view. It's interesting to be looking at. We do this a lot, obviously. I do this a lot, comparing what I'm seeing with what I'm seeing in my hands, and yeah, looking from one to the other, it's quite impressive.
Suitably punchy if you're landing your shots as well.
Yeah, which it ought to be, frankly. I mean, it might be antiquated, but 7.62x54 is still a contemporary round for a reason. It had a lot more punch, relatively speaking, than the 303 of the same British 303 of the same era. It does feel like these. I'm guessing this is like an extraction shooter thing, Tarkov-y type.
It's interesting because it's very much a survival game, but it's got some permadeath in it.
Oh, okay.
So you create these shelters, and you can put all of your equipment back there. You're going out of your shelter, finding equipment, bringing it back, doing quests for the traders. But the world develops as the longer you survive. So day 5, a trader might turn up. Day 10, another trader. Or day 15, helicopters start coming in. Day 16, they start crashing. All the way up to, at the minute, I think day 50. If you die, you respawn at your shelter with no equipment. Except if you go to Vostok. Vostok is where all the high tier loot is. It's where a lot of the best weapons are. And it's where all the most dangerous soldiers are. If you go to Vostok and die, your game file gets deleted. Your save gets deleted. So, you might have lasted to day 50 and built up this amazing shelter and all this loot, but if you go to Vostok and die, that save file's gone. And I did go to Vostok a few times, and you might even be able to see in the gameplay that I'm jumpier because I really did not want to lose all my progress.
That sounds mean.
Yeah, but I suppose it means you can opt into how brutal you want your experience to be.
I suppose, yeah.
But there were a few times I went to Vostok, got shot once, and was like, I'm leaving. At least then if I die somewhere else and bleed out, I'm going to get my stuff back. I'm gonna keep the meta progression.
Interesting. I guess that's why I've just noticed, as well as health, energy, hydration, body temperature. I mean, frankly, that's no business but mine. Nobody's business but mine. And mental, which should just say yes, really, rather than a percentage.
Yeah, you can restore mental by making giant buckets of moonshine.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah. So morale and stuff. And if you get injured, or, you know, you're surviving on, like, old cat food, your mental does go down. And it does make the game harder.
Don't knock it till you've tried it.
We dive even deeper into the weapons of Road to Vostok in our Patreon exclusive extended edition, which is over 70 minutes long. Becoming a patron comes with perks such as 1 week early access to videos, Discord access, and we have over 80 Patreon exclusive Director's Cut episodes and a bunch more bonus content. But whether you join the Patreon or watch along here on YouTube, I want to say thank you for watching, thank you for being part of this journey, and now I'll get back to the video.
Good. So I guess are we meant to be in Finland?
Yeah, you're on the Finnish-Russian border.
Yeah. I guess even if we weren't exactly in, this is perfectly plausible. So we have a Suomi KP-31. Nice to see that. There's a granddaddy of the Soviet SMGs as well. So that's pretty much bang on. There are different patterns of mag, so just because the one on the screen's a bit different to the one I put on here, I don't think that's a showstopper. I think there are different. I think that would be a correct different build standard, or from a different era of the manufacture of this thing. This is an early pattern gun, as is the one on screen. So the later pattern guns have an extended barrel shroud with a muzzle device. This is just a bare muzzle protruding from the jacket. And you can see our weirdly bolt action reminiscent cocking handle back here, which is also, of course, on the model. That sound effect, never fired a KP-31 actually, but it sounds right from everything I've seen. I mean, it's a pistol caliber submachine gun with a relatively high rate of fire, so it's not hard to approximate, but it has that kind of poppy quality to it that seems right for this. Also a lot of movement. Quite a lot of movement of the gun while firing, as it's sort of oscillating a little bit, rather than just staying stock still or purely recoiling straight back.
Weirdly, arm movement is quite a integral thing. You have arm stamina, so if you're holding the weapon down,
arm icon.
Exactly.
That I'm saying. Okay.
If you're running around with the weapon down, your arm stamina is fine. If you have it at the low ready, or what most games will call the hip fire stance,
wow,
or aiming down sights, your arm stamina will drain, and it seems like that affects the recoil and how steady you can hold the weapon. So the longer you've got it on low ready or in the aim, it starts to get heavier, and weapon weight will affect that. If it's a pistol, you can hold it up there for quite a bit longer.
That's genius. That's completely new to me.
It's really interesting. Tarkov has that. Tarkov does have arm stamina, but the way it plays with this works very, very well. With like the survival element, encourages you to bring your weapon down to your chest and not have it in the aim. Again, dials up the tension of a game like this. And it's worth noting that the developer, I believe there's the solo developer. Apologies if I butcher your name pronunciation. Antti Liinanen. He's a former Finnish army lieutenant. So it seems like he's brought some of his military experience into some of this game as well, which is really cool to see.
So what I'm noticing in terms of animation, what appears to me to be animation movement, is probably tied to this system, this fatigue system, essentially. To some extent, I would guess. Or maybe what's represented on screen isn't tied directly to that. Maybe it's a sort of background mechanic, but interesting that both of those things are going on. And yeah, I mean, this is... You know, these early generation, or like second generation, or whatever you want to call them, blowback submachine guns are hefty. This is empty, and it's like, yeah, still. I wouldn't want to hold that in the aim for particularly long, especially as you don't have the ability, really, unless you fancy burning your hands, to reach out and support further down. You've really kind of got to hold it here or under the drum like this, and you really feel like it's front heavy. Well, because it is front heavy. So yeah, very interesting.
You have to actually engage with bringing the weapon up, so you scroll up on your scroll wheel to bring that weapon up. So it also means if you get ambushed, that's another operation that you need to do to re-engage the enemy. Which again, you'll probably see me being shot at, my character spin around, and I'm like fumbling with the mouse wheel to bring the weapon up and defend myself. It all comes together very well, very well. There are a lot of people in the Road to Vostok Discord asking me to make sure this weapon was included. I was like, of course. It's a Finnish submachine gun featured in a Finnish game, which is located in Finland. Of course we're covering it.
And in historical terms, you know, as submachine guns go, very significant as well. You do get the sense there of the controllability. You can see a little bit of muzzle rise going on, but those short, rapid bursts is weapons like this absolutely excel at. It's kind of their whole point for existing. Is it just the drum mag on this, or do we get
the only magazine
options?
Option available so far is the drum? And it was rare that I could fill one because the ammunition was... You have to search for ammunition or trade for it. So I had to squirrel away all the rounds so I could get a couple drums.
And then fritter it away.
Yeah.
Where was the... There seemed to be a flashlight on there.
It's on your chest, or it's implied to be on your chest carrier, based on the model of flashlight.
Your chest carrier?
Your chest rig. Plate carrier. Maybe it's in the mouth.
I know someone would mention it in the comments.
Better you than them.
Exactly.
Although there is a model of flashlight that's like the head torch option as well that you have going camping.
Okay, well, whatever you do, don't use duct tape to strap a torch onto a quite valuable Suomi. Unfortunately, so this looks like an A5 to me, and we do now have one. As far as I know, it's still the baseline model for the 416. There are various other. There's technically an A7 and A8. A6 didn't ever make the catalogue, I don't believe, but there are relatively minor changes. The main giveaway for this. So we've got modern features like the curved bowed trigger guard, this pattern of hand guard, but we don't yet have a 45-degree selector on there. So ours is in desert tan, this one is black, but they are the same model. This is a British Trials rifle that we have covered on our channel, and has an offset red dot fitted to it and a suppressor. I
was going to say, to give people a peek behind the curtain, I did not tell Jonathan that the one we were going to show off had an optic and a suppressor. This is completely accidental.
Yeah, well, we have two of these, but they're basically identical. Well, one's missing the suppressor and doesn't have the offset red dot. I just went with it because it was the most tricked out of the two. But yeah, we only have two. We have an early generation 416, very early actually, and these. But happily, it's the right one for the game. So we have our ambidextrous. So the A5 era gives us ambidextrous controls as well. Bolt catch, bolt release. With the right index finger for the option as well.
So if your weapon's got a Picatinny system, you can decide where your optic lives on the rail.
Okay.
So you have the ability to move it forward or backward, which does really affect like how useful it is. Up close, it's more useful as an optic, but it obscures more of your vision, I found, when you've got it in low ready or you've got the weapon drop down. But it's a nice little detail when it comes to making your weapon feel a bit more, I guess.
Yeah, and we have the selector moving position as it ought to as well. Worth noting that at the same time. I'm not actually sure what optic that is. There are myriad on the market, and I struggle to keep up myself sometimes. This is a Trigicon VCOG, which is somewhat popular at least. We don't have too many LPVO low power variable optics in our collection as yet, but they are coming in as they become more ubiquitous. Whether they will remain so, don't know. So this is a 1 power to 8 power, 1 to 8. Not actually sure what this one is, but it's a similar capability by the look of it. Burst firing with magnified optics feels a little risky.
In game, I think that the two scopes, or the two LPVOs in game are called the Leopard and the VDU. So legally distinct Leopold and Voodoo.
Yeah, gotta be, I think. Look, that one. It's a very distinctive pattern on the rear of the housing, so it wouldn't be too hard to identify. I'm sure some people watching will know what it is immediately. It is weird seeing that move up and down the rail, especially when it's stupidly far away like that. I'll just get a cheek rest on my Picatinny rail so that I can use my scope. Stock over the shoulder. Still don't have an AK-12. There are very limited ways in which we could get one here. Fingers crossed that pans out. This looks to be the original 2019 edition of the AK-12 with that M4 style buffer tube buttstock on there. That's the giveaway. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, having seen lots of images and videos of the AK-12 over the last 6+ years, this looks pretty good. You can actually get a hint of that locking system for the top cover with that bracket on the back there that's right in your face when you're shooting the gun. Just iron sights here, which for a lot of the time has been quite common. It's all very well providing the ability to mount optics and accessories to firearms, but you also have to be able to provide those accessories to be fitted. And anecdotally, a lot of soldiers are resorting to buying their own, or some are anyway. Hard to know the truth of that.
All the AK-12s I took from the Russian soldiers in the game came bare. I had to find optics from other places to fit them on as I tried to upgrade the weapon, because the iron sight picture is not great.
Yeah, it's interesting. They experimented with the radically different iron sights on the AN-94 and then never carried that forward and stuck to essentially the basic AK pattern sight. Although this one is windage adjustable, but that's an old design as well with a knob on the side. AK-12 pattern magazines, unsurprisingly.
Me finding out that I can indeed put the pin back in the grenade.
Ah, that might be a first. I don't remember ever being able to safe a grenade. Quite fiddly to do in real life for the most part, from what I've seen. You don't want to be fiddling trying to jam a split pin back into a series of holes in case you drop it. But of course it is possible. It's kind of essential to be able to, if you change your mind. Hence the expression, put a pin in it. No, not the origin of that expression. But now that I've said it, someone will probably start saying that it is. Dogs can look up. So, whereas the AK-12 is kind of unsurprising, given the location and the time period, i.e. now, and something you might capture from Russian forces if you're fighting Russian forces, this thing is pretty unusual, but it is Finnish. So I did have to check this one, because I didn't remember any detail anyway. It appeared on the Firearm blog only last year, and it is in fact the KAR, or KAR, actually KAR 21. And looking at the markings, it looks like they've licensed it from the actual manufacturer, because that looks like the right name. And multi-caliber, yes, indeed. So This will be the 7.62 or 308 Winchester version. It says multi-caliber on the side, and the whole point is you can quickly swap this over, as you've been able to do with a number of firearms for a number of years now, to an alternate caliber. And in this case, it's either what's listed as 308 or 223. So yes, if you're wondering what this is, it's that, and it's because it's a Finnish scenario. So we've gone local, which is entirely appropriate. So I'm learning about this as I go, really. It's sort of reminiscent of other weapons of the generation, like the FN Scar or the Remington ACR, that kind of thing. Lots of Allen screws and machined aluminium and some polymer. But it is a homegrown Finnish design, so why wouldn't it be here? And it makes sense that they go with the 308 chambering to differentiate from the 5.56 weapons.
Well, there is a 223 variant in the game as well.
Oh,
is there? I think they're looking to, because you can. I might have misread some of this in the Discord, but I think they're looking to make it like actually multi-caliber, so you can actually transfer the gun. I don't think it's a feature yet, but there are both variants in the game.
Very interesting that they would seek to do that, because that's a very good reason to have it in the game, isn't it? If you've got scarcity of ammunition, to be able to have one weapon that you can switch between the two, that makes it more than just a cosmetic marking on the gun or a cool fact to know about the gun that's in your game. You're actually getting to sort of live that aspect of the gun in the game. Having assumed that this is semi-auto only, I've just seen that the receiver on this one is marked auto. So I don't know if that's a conceit for the game or if they really do offer this as a select fire.
Well, looking at the car rifle website, they've actually put a 3D model of the gun up. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. There's a 3D model of the gun. And then under it says, here you can view the Car 21 3D model from the game Road to Vostok.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
So there's obviously a relationship there, which
yeah, definitely.
Shows that they've done their homework and have included something very cool. It's
a fun crossover, and I also approve of that as a way to have something in there with its real branding, just for fun.
This has to be the first game this gun has appeared in.
Oh, I'd be amazed if it's not. There's something terribly wrong about shooting guns without any sights on, unless you live in the Walking Dead universe, of course, where it's just standard. And I appreciate it on the level of the gun's so sort of modular in game that you can choose to not fit sights or when you torture me by removing parts until there's nothing left and it still shoots. The theory of that is I approve of, but it's kind of irks me that
that's just how I found it. So I was like, dang, I really hope I can get an optic.
Yeah, well,
otherwise,
again, with this kind of game, that's perfectly legitimate. You might find it brand new in the box. You might find it after someone has stripped off the optic and thrown it away, I guess. I don't know why you would do that. Which makes me question, actually, is there a maintenance or breakage thing going on here?
There is. You'll see in some of the later clips that weapons start jamming. So you'll need weapon repair kits to make sure they stay functional. There's no jamming animation in yet. I don't know if that's something they plan. But if you don't look after your weapon, it will start jamming on you.
You can see there actually the magazine well is a separate component, so I'm guessing that's part of the conversion process rather than, I'm guessing here, but rather than shimming the mag well for a 5.56 as we've seen with Desert Tech did it that way, you swap out the whole mag well and it's a narrower aperture for the smaller mag, I would guess. Very picturesque place to die, isn't it?
Of all the places to bleed out cinematically.
The car park less so.
I would like to visit Finland. I think the language sounds difficult, but looks like a beautiful place to visit. Between playing this and My Summer Car, that's the only exposure to Finland I've got. I don't think that's a real great representation of the country, especially with My Summer Car. Yeah, you can see this. So this is me fighting in Vostok, and it's scarier. I was on edge.
Yeah, the speed with which you are glancing around and the speed with which you're moving is there's a definite pace change.
And if you're just starting out fighting bandits, you've got no protection. By this point, I'd gotten a decent plate in my plate carrier, level 3 helmet, so I was able to shrug off some damage, but yeah, one wrong move, one shot, that's your save file gone.
Oh, bloody hell. I didn't even notice him up there. Okay, so yeah, it's called an 870, and it looks mostly like one.
So if you transfer the sort of operation mechanics from the Mosin to the shotgun, that's how this thing operates. It's having to keystroke for every pump, engage the sort of reload sequence, and then left click for every new shell. Did cause some panic stations when things started getting hairy, and
I bet it did.
I had the dead man's click.
It's certainly bang on for the current production.
Well, I'd read that the Finnish military police had actually used Remington 870s as well, so potentially something the developer was more familiar with.
Well, I guess they've playing it safe is the wrong phrase to use, but it's like this or a Mossberg 500 are probably, certainly in video game terms, and they're two of the most popular pump shotguns in history. They're the sort of go-tos. Chances are that's what you're going to choose. You're going to need a pump shotgun, whatever the genre really. Happens to be more survival type situation here, but it's one of those ubiquitous weapons. You need a shotgun. You want it to be manually operated for whatever reason, and it's kind of environmentally makes lots of sense here. Very, very commonly available thing, and with that level of control over reloading, adds something a bit extra. So you get quite a vanilla gun, but you get the interactive aspect that you wouldn't have otherwise. And presumably multiple different ammo types for this.
So far, no, but I think they are planning that in the future.
Yeah, of course, in reality, if you're scrounging farmers' sheds or whatever, you're probably going to find an absolute ton of birdshot, maybe some buckshot, or definitely some buckshot, given the forests and deer and things. Maybe a bit of slug for deer hunting or something. Maybe not super exotic stuff like dragon's breath. But of course, you can always tweak that a bit for game purposes so that you get maybe it's not as available, but if you're lucky, you get a box of something unusual. Can you use it for breaching?
No breaching.
Okay.
You've got to be quite careful when you open doors in case some bandit is behind it.
I suppose in this scenario, there aren't going to be, like, most of the doors are already going to be, like, the locks are already going to be broken or unlocked. So it's not like you need to worry about that. Decent range to it, clearly. Some nice sound effects there. The plastic hull clattering on the wet tarmac, or in this case, the dry concrete, or whatever it is. Nervous press check.
You've got to keep an eye on that thing. Same with the what fire mode you're on. Obviously less relevant for this shotgun. Oh yeah, he sat down. He's not feeling well.
Having a bit of a sit down.
He needs an ibuprofen. What the hell was I talking about? Fire selectors. You'll actually need to look at the gun if you forget what fire mode you're on.
That's good.
Maybe in real life you'd just be able to feel it, but without that tactile element, you have to actually look at the gun and the other side of the gun and say, "Oh, I'm on semi." I
do think you have to be careful of making things harder than real life. It reminded me of my days doing proper flight simming. It's like, this is harder than if I was actually in the aircraft. Can we not just automate some of this? Because when you're actually when you're actually holding something, you, like you say, in that case, you can feel the status of something. You don't need to look at it like this. But a lot of these survival or extraction shooters or whatever, they've got elaborate animations for checking and loading single rounds and stuff like that, which is all great, don't get me wrong. It's not the same thing as the flight sim thing. Broadly speaking, the more little realism touches, the better. Yeah, I meant to double check actually whether we had one in 762 or an LMG variant. I'm fairly sure we don't, though.
If the developer's watching this, can we please have the ability to kit this up like the Commando one?
Yes, please.
Even if it's just the stock.
I do have a cheesy grin photo of me with that very gun.
Well, we'll need that.
I didn't pose with it over my shoulders, though, regrettably.
We'll need that.
I don't have the shoulders for that. Yeah, a fun sort of glitch of history where they couldn't get a real RPK, so they got a Finnish Valmet and stuck that in the movie instead. But without sort of reconverting it to look like an RPK, they left it kind of as was, which makes it quite distinctive in the movie now. That seems surprisingly controllable.
It wasn't too bad. It did surprise me with its recoil every now and again, but I'd got used to it after a little while. But I did opt to mostly use this on semi throughout most of my time with it.
You could have fooled me so far. You're hosing that thing.
I had to bust out the full auto. Once I thought I had enough footage, I got a bit braver with it. So it doesn't matter if I lose some of this ammo and some of this weapon, because I've at least got a nest egg. So I thought, yeah, let's open it up a bit.
Badly need a cheek piece with that side rail mount with the ACOG on it. It's like 30 feet in the air. Yeah, I would have thought this thing with a scope and on semi would be a nice sort of pseudo DMR. Since it doesn't come with the bipod that it would have come with in service, you can't really use it as an LMG anyway. So it seems by default it would be best used in that way. Then again, seems like it's quite effective at close range on automatic.
I don't know if the developer is considering like variants of weapons, like Tarkov and the Golden Tokarev.
Yeah.
But if one of the bosses in the game has a Commando style M78 Valmet, I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, it's funny actually. Arnie runs around with his Valmet with the bipod folded up, and in this case, it doesn't have one, and you might find yourself trying to use it in a more realistic way than he did. But yeah, I want that too. It's our old favourite, the MP5. That looks good. Slidey sight situation again. I mean, very unlike me. I haven't picked up an MP5 to compare here yet, but that maybe I should. There's one just down the way. I'll be right back.
Canonically, Jonathan is never further than 10 feet away from an MP5. When I emailed you, I said to grab an MP5 SD. Although I died immediately after recording a small piece of footage with it, so it's gone. So we're just going to stick with the regular MP5.
Okay, that's fine. Right, so I'm pleased to report, although I didn't say it first, so I guess you could disbelieve me if you want, but what I was going to say is I thought the barrel was too long for 4 of the tri-lug. So if you compare that with what's on the screen, because this thing's burned into my subconscious, the proportions just didn't look quite right. It's not Call of Duty wrong. It's just that there's too much barrel here. So that just needs to be virtually hacksawed off a little bit further. Now the one I happen to have grabbed is the old school SEF lower, not the so-called Navy later lower, but otherwise it's the same. Picatinny claw mount on there, fair enough. We've got the push pin is the opposite way around, but you know, we can just pull that out and push it in that way around so that it matches what's on the screen.
You'll see a lot of jamming because the first one I found was beat up.
Very bassy sound effect I'm getting in my ear there. Nice slap. It's another fun soundbite. We've got the judo chop. I'm not a fan of the judo chop slap because it's very easy to hurt yourself. You've got to kind of come in in an arc, otherwise you hit the stop of the notch in the cocking tube and it hurts. The floaty numbers on the mags and kind of representing what's in the chamber. I'm kind of surprised they are there, because I'd expect a game like this to make you count your rounds or like try and look at the magazine and work out how many rounds you have left, rather than having the numbers appear in front of your eyes like that. But
in terms of the magazine, as far as I could tell, it does accurately model how many rounds are left. If you've got one in the mag, you look at the magazine, it will have one left.
Yeah, it was just the green numbers that were kind of spoilers as to how many rounds you had left that I was surprised by.
So here's the one that I was running that was jamming on me quite a bit. I think I had to just leave it in the cabin at one point because I just could not rely on it.
The stoppages, the jams, or it's just a kind of generic gun no worky, reload gun worky, I take it. Not any kind, it's not modelling particular stoppages that require particular remedies or anything like that.
Not at this stage, no. Again, not sure if that's something the developer wants to look into as the early access continues, but yeah, it sort of just disappears out of view. You fiddle with it, comes back running.
The HK roller guns are kind of, they're interesting in a reliability point of view, because they are extremely reliable, but you do need someone with some savvy to actually armourer them or gunsmith them so that they stay super reliable. You know, they will break parts. It has got lifed parts in it. And if you found one just in a shed, it may not work very well. Right, so the other Valmet is perhaps what most people will think of when you say Valmet, if they know what one is, and it's the M62 or RK62 with its perhaps a little comical, but very practical, solid steel tubular buttstock and steel tubular pistol grip, albeit with a plastic coating on it, and the very distinctive multi-hold handguard. And in this case, the more AK looking magazine, although it does have the loop on the bottom of it. We do have a more modern one here, which I think the game is utilising, with that sort of almost Bulgarian waffle pattern on it. So almost a parallel universe AK. So you see it's a machined receiver, but it's a different design to any of the machined AK receivers, with a pronounced ramp on it there, which, well, I mean, don't know the design history in detail of this, but I've always assumed that was a weight-saving thing more than anything else. We have that distinctive Valmet iron sight set up where it's on the top cover, so you get a longer sight radius for more accuracy, and it means you are reliant on some more precise engineering around here so that your iron sight isn't floating around a bit. We've got these sight protectors here. You'll notice this one, it's got its rear sight aperture adjusted up above the limit of the sight protector, and that needs a tool to adjust. So it's possible to be running around with your Valmet with your rear sight not actually protected, or fully protected at least, by its sight protectors, which is something I normally complain about video game guns. Yeah, see, the Finns were doing the front sight gas block before it was cool. See that on the AK-12, among other things.
Any general thoughts of what you've seen of Road to Vostok?
Yeah, it looks good. I think I'm more inclined to dabble with this, I suspect, than a true extraction shooter, because it's just a bit... Mind you, I'm slightly terrified by the idea that of the permadeath, or even just losing everything you're carrying. It's not exactly casual gameplay.
Just don't go to Vostok. I mean, I think...
Just don't go to the titular city of the game.
For people that have been curious about games like Escape from Tarkov or DayZ, I think this could scratch an itch within the single-player sandbox realm. I'd really recommend it to people. And, you know, it just launched into early access and there's still loads to see, loads to do. And you can get a little cat in a box for your shelter.
Okay, I'm sold.
No, anything else?
I don't think so. No. Not that I can think of.
Cool. Then I guess we can finish. I said, I guess we can finish.
Oh. You peaked at big plus, I'm afraid. That you'll never be funnier than that.
Fuck. Thank you all for watching. Let us know what other games, movies, TV shows or beyond you'd like to see us cover. Like the video if you enjoyed, and of course subscribe for more content to come very soon. As always, a massive shout out to all of our wonderful supporters over on the EXP Patreon who, without their wonderful support, we simply couldn't make the cool content we do today. Links to support Jonathan and the Royal Armouries will also be in the description below, so make sure you check those out and show those wonderful folks some love as well. Until next episode, thank you once more for watching, and I will see you very soon.